Welcome to episode 7 of Skweeel. I am once again in SA Byron Bay's beautiful Duality SE studio, where I'll be making all of my PhD research videos from now on. I would like to explore in this episode the precision of the total recall system on this console, which I suspect is going to be exactly the same resolution as on the SSLK, because both of them use 10-bit resolution to store the pot positions. Bill Wade, however, thanks very much, Bill, suggested a more precise method to test the system. He suggested that I actually use just one channel, dial in a sound, record the output for that precise setting of controls, reshuffle, and then using the recall system, recall those exact same settings, record the output again, and then compare to see how close I am. Because in that case, I'm using the same module, therefore I'm ruling out any discrepancies that might exist between two different modules, which was the way I was testing things before. So let's get to it. So I've dialed in a sound, just randomly setting the EQ, and I've got the filters active as well. And for good measure, I threw in the dynamics processor. So I'm currently recording the output of that signal on Pro Tools, and I will overlay the spectrogram of this particular sound once I edit the video. So you should see it now. And what I'm going to do is activate the total recall system, and I'm going to store, which it's done lightning fast. And now I'm going to press cut, because any of these sounds in a prolonged way can be a bit annoying. And I'm just really resetting, just twisting all those pots, giving them a good shake. I'll even move the fader down. That input gain can come down. There we go. So it's fair to assume that I've actually reset the signal. And if we listen to the output, there's absolutely nothing, because the overall gain is below unity right now. And so now what I'm going to do is ask the console to recall the settings for the selected channel, which is, give me a second, right there. Set selected, and this one is selected. All right, so Pro Tools is still recording the output. And here goes. I am turning all the pots until these yellow rings cancel. I will show you a close-up of the screen in a separate shot. And we should be hearing some kind of signal soon. Now, one thing I've noticed is that those Larsen effects, those very high voltages in the channel, actually interfere with the total recall system voltages. And so I'll show you a close-up of the total recall screen. But what it's doing is it's flashing all of the settings on and off. So it's actually very difficult to see what I'm doing. There we go. Oddly enough, we had to reset those final two pots, and there, all of the yellow, which is an indicator of something still needing to be reset on a SSL total recall system. All of those yellow rings are gone. All of the switches are in their proper position. And so Pro Tools is recording again this output signal, and what I'm going to do in post-production is actually compare the two signals. I reckon I will pan the original signal before I stored and recalled on the left-hand side. You should hear it now. And on the right-hand side, I will have the current signal. And I will also overlay in post the two spectrograms, and we'll see how close we are in pitch. It does sound like I'm much closer than a semitone, I'm guessing. What I'll do, this will be boring, is I'm going to do the same thing on several other channels just to make sure that the results are consistent. But I don't have perfect pitch, I don't think I do, but I reckon those signals are really, really close in terms of pitch. So thank you, Bill Wade, for suggesting I do that. I reckon this has demonstrated that even more so than on the K system, I think that on this particular console we're getting really accurate timbres and especially accurate pitches from this recalling of settings, storing them and recalling. I lied when I said I wouldn't show you a second example. I just listened back to the tests that were done, and the two signals are so close to each other, I would need a tuner to be able to assess how many cents of difference there is. It's well within a semitone, which is really amazing. It's almost the same note. I can tell they're slightly out of pitch, but it's probably just 10 or 20 cents, no more. So I decided to use a different module, and I've got Woody Woodpecker happening here. And again, I'm recording the sound right now. So this is my model sound. I'm going to activate the total recall system. I'm storing the entire channel. I'm going to press cut. I am resetting. Previous students didn't reset the aux sends. I'm going to reset the EQ as if the students had done a good job of actually resetting the console. Naughty students. And getting rid of the filters, getting rid of the compressor and resetting that. So now we don't have any feedback loop happening, and I am now going to recall this. There we go. Still not 100% familiar with how this particular console works. I can never remember which buttons to press to get a selected channel to be displayed. There we go. So what I'm particularly interested in here is whether Woody Woodpecker will have exactly the same pecking frequency. So not only the note at which Woody Woodpecker is pecking, but also the rhythm, the rate at which the pecking happens. And again, if this is within just a few BPMs from the original sound I stored, and if the pitch is within a semitone, I don't think the aux sends really matter. I'll leave them be. And there we go. So everything's been reset. And again, my audio memory isn't good enough that I can actually tell right now whether this is exactly the same pitch and rhythm as the original sound. But in post-production, again, I will have the original sound on the left channel, which you're hearing now, and on the right channel I will have the recalled sound, and again we'll be able to measure. I will overlay the two spectrograms. We'll be able to see how close storing and recalling gets us to exactly the same signal. This one being a challenge because there are two things here at play. The frequency of the pecking, the note, as in that's a different note than this one, but also the rate at which Woody is pecking. So I've had a chance to listen to the two audio signals, and if you can see that smile, the precision of the storing and recalling is just flabbergasting. I don't use that term often, too many syllables for me. I'm just amazed, and this is very, very promising because this will make my life so much easier when it comes to composing the actual musical piece. I'll be able to pull in some very specific timbres, including perhaps some very specific rates, which I'll try to align to a particular master BPM for the song. And if I'm able to store and recall that precisely, then it's just going to be a breeze to be able to compose very complex sounds, weave them into the production. So that's it. I thought for once I'd make a short video. This concludes Chapter 7 of the saga. I'll see you later for Chapter 8.